Call the meeting to order and ask for a roll call.
Blunier.
Here.
Leach.
Here.
Lehman.
Here.
Menold.
Here.
Newman.
Here.
Parrott.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Ask you to join me in Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no presentations or special reports. Public comment, anyone like to speak?
I'm Rich Giebelhausen. I've been a resident of Morton for almost 50 years, so I've got a little bit of history of the community. This last year, I've been in contact with several officials concerning trail enhancements, and in my opinion, an enhanced trail system would be a huge asset to this community. When people look to become residents here, they're looking at a lot of things. First off, probably schools. They look at real estate taxes. They look at the infrastructure, and they look at the recreational facilities. Morton has got all of that going for them. I and many others really appreciate the fact that the city decided to allocate resources to update the bike trail plan. It's really important to have, in my mind, an official document that says this is where we're going. About 10 days ago, I submitted my thoughts to both Craig and Kurt on what I thought I would like to see, adding suggestions. A lot of those coincided with what ended up in the plan. There were I did have a few other possibilities which were not in the plan, and as I said in my comments, one of the most important critical things that the city can start to do right now is work to try and acquire the railroad property or railroad right-of-way going through town. It starts way out on the north end and basically at Tennessee and goes all the way over to on the other side, west side of I-155 by the Morton buildings. We can't have what I labeled another Illinois terminal disaster where the right-of-way was just given away. That travesty can never be redone or corrected. It's just history. Acquisition of that would greatly simplify the trail enhancements going through town. Just in a simple example, the stretch from Nebraska on the north side to North Main Street, if you use the trail, you wouldn't have to relocate any utilities or anything like that. And as we all know, utility relocation is ridiculously expensive. It would also, by acquiring the right-of-way, it would allow for the expansion of Bauman Park, which is that little small strip park on Bauman Street. It would also allow access to the library, and it would also give you a second access underneath I-74. So, those would be huge benefits. There are other benefits, but I would refer you to the comments as I submitted to Craig. I would also encourage the city to start talking to the businesses on North Main Street from Nebraska, basically all the way out to Cortland. From my understanding, Cortland's going to be expanded this next year or soon. I don't know exact time frame. So the thought is the trail would extend on Cortland all the way over to North Main Street. And those properties all along North Main Street are set way back. They're not crowding the curb or anything like that. So if you could start talking to those people and let them know this is what you want to do. I don't know where your right-of-way starts and stops, but it would be a huge benefit to be able to connect that part of the trail together. I'd also encourage or suggest the city create a trail on both the west and south side of Ashland Avenue. Basically along the, I call it hotel strip, restaurant strip. There's no sidewalks there. If anybody's staying in a hotel, they have to walk in the street to get to a restaurant. And if you expanded that, and I believe it's city property on the south and west side there. So you wouldn't technically have any acquisition costs. If you carried it all the way up to North Morton Avenue and across North Morton Avenue, you could connect up with Lakeland Park, which is a new park, has a nice lake, and then you could possibly connect it all the way through to the Cortland Trail. In closing, I'm not really sure what the village is going to, how it's going to progress from here, but I'd be glad to help out in any way possible. If you're going to put together a committee, I'll be glad to sit in on something like that, share my ideas and thoughts. This is something I'm just very, very passionate about. I've biked for years, and I appreciate being able to not become an object for a car. So again, thank you for hearing me out. And like I said, I'd be willing to help out in any way that I can. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Mayor and trustees and everyone. Leanne Brown with the Morton Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Council. A few updates. People are paying attention to our Morton community. We do still have a prospect that is looking at the former Ruby Tuesdays building. And the Chicago broker actually reached out to local representative regarding the last planning meeting for the neighboring property. So they kind of got cross-referenced there, thinking it might be something to do with their property. So that one, as far as we know, is moving forward for the former pizza or Ruby Tuesdays. We don't have any information on specifics for the prospect, but we know the Chicago broker is still working with their client. And while we're at it, that area, I know there's been a lot of question on what is being constructed next door to the former Ruby Tuesdays. Arby's is being constructed there. Just to share that information out there. I know there's been a lot of information, speculation, but Arby's will be constructing their new restaurant there. A couple other things. Typically this time of year we would be gathering in several ways. One with our chamber annual meetup. And so this Thursday, February 4th, we are hosting our virtual chamber annual meetup. Around 75, 80 people did sign up, and we'll be receiving a behind the scenes link access to that, and a delivery of a goodie bag for a Taste of Morton experience. And then those that maybe missed out, following after Thursday night, we will share the information out publicly because that information will include our 2021 festival theme announcement, along with celebrating our Distinguished Service Award recipient and our Volunteer of the Year for 2020. Also, we would have been gathering for our EDC annual symposium. Instead, on Monday, February 8th at 4 o'clock, we will release a short update in our 2020 highlight video that will be made publicly available. And then late May, we will look to host a in-person EDC symposium to honor our Venture Award recipient and share some further updates through the Economic Development Council. Also coming up, a Morton Mixer on February 9th. This is a way to connect in with some of our long-standing business owners and businesses here in Morton through a fireside chat with a business owner. It will be with Carol Davis, owner of Lulu's, and then also a co-host and sponsor, Dr. Karen Hanna with Touch of Wellness. So you can tune into that on February 9th, Morton Mixer at 5:45. We also have a really good opportunity to showcase our Morton community. We've got a film producer out of the Hamptons that is looking to produce a film called Peter Peter. And Peter Peter will take place here in Morton. And the film producers have already been corresponding with several Morton businesses, us as the Chamber EDC, conversations with the mayor and others to make the story as real setting in our Morton community as possible. It is themed around the Great Pumpkin Bake Off. So, of course, the pumpkin capital of the world is a great fit to host that movie. So we will hopefully have an opportunity to premiere during our festival before the film is released in November and be able to celebrate internationally more about our Morton community. So if you want more information, if your business or organization would like to be a part of that film, we have all the contact information. Just reach out to us and we'd be happy to share more. So with that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak tonight? If not, the consent agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting January 18th, 2021, the closed session January 18th, 2021, and the approval of the bills. If we could have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Call the roll.
Blunier.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Menold.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I have one item tonight. It's a resolution 21-21, a resolution approving the purchase of 0.5 acres, more or less, off South Clinton Avenue from the Opperly Construction Group. If we could have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any comments? This will provide our second entrance, our rear entrance to the new gas building that will be going up there once Morton Reynolds leaves, so we'll have a rear entrance to the property. No comments? Call the roll.
Leach.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Menold.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Village Clerk,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Village Administrator.
I have one item on the agenda tonight and a couple other things I will add after that. First item is Resolution 22-21, a resolution authorizing the execution of an amendment to the agreement with Groveland Fire Protection District for fire protection services.
If we could have a motion.
So moved. Second.
You'd like to inform us there?
I can jump in.
I was going to say, that's as much as I know.
Trustees from the Fire Protection District are here, Nick Smith and Chris Burton. And if you would allow, Your Honor, I think Nick has a few quick
Okay,
statements.
go ahead, Nick.
Excuse me, quite simply, this revised agreement would provide that the village continues to receive the same money it would receive if the referendum that we currently have trying to pass does not pass.
Supplementing that, the Fire Protection District has submitted a referendum to its electors. If passed, that would generate more revenue for them. Your present payment structures, you receive a percentage of their overall revenue. So the proposed amendment would provide that if the referendum passes, your percentage decreases, but because the overall revenue is going up, if the referendum passes, it results in the same actual cash to the village.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Any comments?
If I may, what is the termination date of this original agreement?
I don't recall, I don't believe there was a specific termination date. I think it was a evergreen agreement or a self-renewing agreement, and it continues unless until terminated by either party.
Okay.
I don't have a copy in front of me, Trustee Newman. I'd be happy to confirm that after the meeting, but I believe that to be the case.
Okay, is that common?
The
have
village contracts with another fire protection district to provide a similar service. I believe that agreement set up the same way.
So it just exists in perpetuity and can be amended from time to time as desired by other parties?
That's correct.
Any other comments?
I'd like to just make a comment. This does accomplish, I guess, money-wise, what we were looking to do. But I think it's still a very good bargain for the Groveland Fire Protection District. And am a little concerned still that as our costs continue to increase, it really doesn't protect us in that regard. Because, their assessed value, unless something really happens, is not going to change percentage-wise as much as what our cost increases are.
One point I might interject is that whether we service Groveland Fire Protection District or not, our costs are probably going to stay the same as what they are. I mean, the number of calls that we answer out there don't increase our cost significantly, and we do get to bill for their services. Of course, you get what insurance or Medicare pays as a fixed rate, but if we do transport people from there, we are allowed to bill and collect on that. So, just something I thought of after we spoke the last time.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's still just the point that, again, our costs continue to increase.
Right.
And granted, I agree with you,
And the way I understand this agreement, as their levy goes up, it's still going to, our revenue from them would increase basically in the same percentage as it does now.
Yeah.
It's just the percentage is smaller, but as their revenue goes up, of course, ours would go up.
Yeah,
So,
but of course they're restricted by PTEL also,
Right. Right.
and relying just strictly on property taxes,
Right.
not a good thing.
All right, any other comments? If not, call the roll.
Lehman.
Yes.
Menold.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Motion passes.
The next thing I wanted to discuss tonight, in relation to, we had some concerns when the village-wide boil order was put into place about a lack of communication system. Craig and I, the police chief, the fire chief, and the head of the gas department have been looking at a village-wide notification system, and we have settled on one that we are really pleased with. It will be pretty much amazing what it can do. It can reach by text, by email. It can call landlines, call cell phones. And it will provide direct data as to the number of households connected to, how they were connected, whether they left a message, whether a cell phone went through, whether the email went through to the parties. It will come preloaded with, they estimate, a phone number for every household in the village from their sources that they receive information from. And so initially what we plan to do is we'll send out a village-wide blast to all the numbers that are in the system, notifying the citizens that this is available and giving them the opportunity to opt out, giving them more information on it, and a website that they can go to that will give them more information. But we think this is a great system. Send a notice in as small of an area as the 100 block of North Main, or as village-wide if need be. So it's very informative, very easy to use, very low cost. So it was amazing. So we're looking forward to moving that forward here in the next week or so, and I'll give you more information once it's up and going. So.
Thank you.
The last thing I had informed the mayor, and I thought I needed to share with you a surprising and probably very beneficial point to point out. Our sales tax for the year 2020 was actually up from our sales tax for the calendar year of 2019. I think this is attributable to our business owners in the village. Despite the pandemic, despite all the issues that everyone went through, our calendar year sales tax was 4.4 million. Our prior year it was just over 4.2. So I think we need to give credit to our business owners for their hard work during the pandemic to keep their businesses up and going and sales going forward. So we're tracking right now for our fiscal year, which is May to April, that we will be just slightly above the previous fiscal year. because of the timing of sales and the timing of the money that we receive back from the state. But I think with the prospects, like the city of Peoria was anticipating like a 20% decrease in sales tax. So to say that we may come right about what we had fiscal year-wise from previous fiscal year, I think is amazing. So I just wanted to point that
I would
out to the
agree.
board.
Thanks for the citizens supporting the businesses too. I know a lot of people made special efforts, so much appreciated keeping everyone in business.
That's very good news.
Yes. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. We like good news. Chief of Police.
I have one item tonight, Your Honor. It's Resolution 20-21, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a 2020 Ford Explorer at the state bid price of $34,985 from Morrow Brothers Ford.
I can have a motion.
So moved. Second.
Would you like to make a comment on that, Chief?
I would. It's basically replacing a 2015 Explorer that was involved in a crash. The insurance company totaled it out, so we'll receive $7,750 from the insurance company towards the cost of the new vehicle, which brings it down to $27,235.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
A question I have is typically, I understand we're usually looking to make a replacement, not from a total vehicle that's totaled. But usually there's a bid that goes out for different models and different brands. Why was it chosen just to be for a Ford Explorer?
Basically, we usually use the state bid that's provided to us by the state of Illinois. In the past, we have reached out to local dealers if they so choose to bid. I think the last time we reached out to Murphy's was probably 2018 or 2019. But they just specifically told us at that time that they don't feel comfortable bidding these squad cars to our specs, and so they just won't bid them. So
I guess my question, more pertains, like the last bid that we did was all state bid to my knowledge, and for example, like a Dodge Durango was one of the vehicles that was on the state bid that was available.
that's actually not on the state bid. I think at that time it was on a mayor's bid, which is out of Chicago, and the businesses that run that were actually out of Indiana, but they just service to the Chicagoland area and Indiana. This was just merely what the state had to offer at the time that we looked at the bids. So,
And was there available 2021s, or is it just?
if there was two options that we looked at, one was ordering a squad car, which would take about 16 weeks. At the time that I spoke with him, the dealer still thought that it was going to be a 2020. The vehicle that we're actually looking to purchase is actually on the lot. It's one that they had already purchased, so we wouldn't have the 16-week lead time on it. And so it just happened to be a 2020 that they had there. So that's what we brought to the board. So,
Other than the 16 weeks, was there a cost benefit?
slightly, I would say less than $1,000 or right around $1,000. The reason for that cost difference was when they basically purchased the car, Morrow Brothers, they actually purchased it with a couple of other options that we don't normally have, like heated rear view mirrors or the side mirrors. We don't normally typically order that. This car will have that. So that's the difference in the cost. It's really, whether we bid it or they bid it, it's the same cost. This one just had a couple more features than we normally would bid on it. So,
And I guess my last question, appreciate your help here, is if I remember right from the last time the bids were done, I think it was the state of Indiana for a Dodge Durango. And I could be wrong in that, but I'm pretty certain it was Indiana. Is there any reason why we just went to Illinois and didn't look elsewhere?
no particular reason. Like I
think-
said, I just happened to look at the state bid and contacted Morrow Brothers, who owns it, and that's what they gave me.
'Cause I think the Dodge Durango, if I remember right, was $7,000 less in total.
I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
Any other comments? Call the roll.
Menold,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Parrot,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Leach,
Yes.
Lehman. No. Motion passes.
Anything else?
Nothing else. no.
Okay, thank you. Corporation Counsel.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Director of Public Works.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Boy, is that unusual. Zoning and Code Enforcement Officer.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you. Village trustees, anything tonight any of you have? If not, we don't have a closed session tonight, so if we could have a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.